relationship can be the best thing for your business. The power couple, Elan and Marlene, are up next. Hey, Marlene and Elan, welcome to the call.
Hi, Jeff.
What up, Jeff?
Yo. Okay, so we have the power couple with behind EM Power Entertainment Group. And so share with us the story of who you guys are, where you came from, how you came up in life and got to where you are now, and, you know, the journey.
Well, I love how you say it because we did name Empower Entertainment Group after Elan and Marlene. So it's like the two of us together created this group. And it's actually a culmination of all our experiences from the last, how many years?
Gosh, 15, 18? Oh, you mean together?
Yeah, no, not together, but, you know, in entertainment and everything.
Yeah, 20 plus.
Yeah, 20 plus years individually in the entertainment business. So this is it's kind of a project that we put together, and we're really excited about where it's going.
Perfect. And so where did you guys kind of start off in the entertainment business industry? I know you were singing with your group in Hawaii, and that was from, you know, years ago, and you guys just kind of had like a reunion thing going on. And so how did you guys come up in the entertainment world?
Okay, so I was singing in a group called Forte. It was 4 girls from Hawaii, and we started, I think we first met as a group in 94, I want to say, and we came out with our first album in 99. So we're part of that whole girl group revolution back in the day, if you can say. And then we actually met Elan in 2001, and we recorded an album with him. And so I've known him since 2001.
And then it was love from there, or?
No, I think it was more
he planted the seed to lock it down.
No, I think it was more of a deep friendship. I mean, we were very good friends during the whole recording process, and it wasn't until after the whole project was done that we decided to get together.
She always brought me Starbucks to the studio sessions. So like that was it, man.
She knew what was up. She was like, I know how to get him. I'm gonna keep him caffeinated.
Exactly. Keep him caffeinated. I'm gonna drip on him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear little sexy things.
Oh my gosh, totally not.
Just, you know, it happened.
I don't know. I'm the Instagram profile pic is kind of like, yep, yeah, I get it. And then, I mean, it worked. There's kids all over the page, you know, so something happened. But, you know, and so really just to kind of dive into it and really kind of start bringing some value is tell us about like the gutty details of the journey, because you didn't just start. Like everybody thinks it's more of a fad now, which is kind of unfortunate, you know, to be, you know, air quote, you know, I'm an entrepreneur.
Right.
You know, it's becoming a popular thing to do. And it's like, oh, I made a sticker. I'm an entrepreneur. It's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You know, and so really dive into the details on the journey, because you guys have a very unique story, you know, and how you got some of the people that you've been able to associate with and work with. I know, Elan, like you've, you know, played basketball with Kanye, you know. I don't know how many people can just say that they did that.
Yeah.
You know,
well, that's a whole story in itself.
You know what I mean? And so like that type of stuff. And I know you guys both have done stuff with, you know, Mr. Mars and that kind of fun stuff, and kind of seen that whole progression. I know you guys were really close with him, mainly Elan. And did a lot of stuff with him, but, you know, seeing that whole progression, and how has that really helped you guys really buckle down and grind it out, you know?
Yeah. When you see something like Mr. Mars go from, and we've both seen him go from a teenage boy with a dream, and then you see him hit the pinnacle of what the entertainment business is. I mean, he's the biggest male pop star in the world. Mm-hmm. When you see that whole process, it really confirms a lot of the things that you believed in and what it takes to make that happen. And I mean, the one takeaway I can give for everybody is you have to be willing to die for it. You have to be willing to sacrifice everything for that obsession, for that dream. And then, I mean, obviously there's balance. You have to find balance, but in the end, the common denominator that I've seen in people who have been successful is they've been willing to just plan A and that was it. Obsessed with plan A, and there was no other way. Figure a way to do it, and the universe, acts for you and makes it happen. And work hard, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really just be obsessed. That's the one takeaway I've learned is the people who made it are obsessed. I mean, almost sickly obsessed with their vision, which you have to be.
Yeah.
And then you find balance, I think, but you have to be.
It has to
sickly
start with
obsessed.
with an obsession. I mean, because there's going to be so much negativity around you. That's just going to come with it because people are going to put their filter of what they see them achieving, and they're going to portray that on you and be like, "Oh, you can't do it. Look at everybody else. Nobody's going to make it. Like the chances of you making it are so on and so forth." And so you kind of need to have that internal grit to just kind of drive through.
And that unfortunately is usually coming from your family, and it's coming from a good place usually. They're just trying to protect you.
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
Because of their own didn't make it or their dreams didn't quite happen and it hurt so much that they're just trying to protect you. I don't want you to feel that way, but just like you said, you have to have this kind of force field of just believe in yourself, and you know what? I'm not gonna listen to what you guys are saying. I'm obsessed. This is gonna happen.
Yeah, for sure. I think I posted something the other day. It was kind of like you have to be the one that believes in yourself no matter what, because even if everybody else doesn't believe in you, you still got one person in your corner.
Very true.
And then that's all you need. Like, so long as I believe in me, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Because I think so many people are they're just so outside of themselves. They're not self-aware enough where they let everybody else's opinions affect them. You know, it's like Will Smith said it best. It was like people spend money they don't have to buy things that they don't need to impress people that they don't even like.
Yep, 100%.
And that I think translate not only just in like the buying things and getting all the flashy stuff, but I think it goes into people that are pursuing a dream. They let everything externally affect them. And so how did you guys really dial down? I know you guys were you started like the singing group, Mar, and things of that sort. So you kind of went through some things because that wasn't exactly a popular thing to do, because that was in high school?
Yes, we were all when we started, literally our ages were between, I think, 13 and 17. So, yeah, definitely. It was a great time. And back then, of course, there's no social media or anything like that. So we really had to grind it out. We did so many appearances, a lot of performances all over the islands of Hawaii. And we did some performances in California as well as Guam. But yeah, we just grinded really hard. We did the tour of all the different schools, high schools. We did Dare Day. But it was a whole different era back then.
It was pre-social media where you can just go get on your phone and like you have access.
Right. It was before YouTube, before Facebook, before Instagram, before everything.
And so, you guys you guys did albums too. What is that?
Just gave away our age.
I've already said mine, so I'm in the clear. No, we'll just dive into something else real quick. They didn't hear anything. But I mean that's really what it is, and I think so many people don't understand that what it took. So you guys, a bunch of girls in high school where you're proactively, and I think that's the most important word, proactively pursuing a dream. Because a lot of people, they like, oh, I have this dream. It's like, okay, well, if it's just an idea a month from now, then good luck on that ever happening.
Agree.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if it's just like, or what are you doing to do it? It's like, are you taking a step? Did you just pick up the phone and make some calls? Back in the day, it was like, look through the yellow pages and find out who's in music. Who do you got to talk to? And so I think a lot of people just nowadays, there's this attitude of entitlement and victim mentality, and everybody it should be given to me, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, good luck with that.
Right.
You know,
Back then you had
you,
to get
you
noticed,
got to
you know?
grind. Like even still today, but just it's even more so today because of social media. Like you said, attention is the new currency. Like if you don't have attention, you're never your company, your product, you know, your whatever it is, won't ever be able to give any value because nobody's paying attention to you. And so, how do
Agreed.
you think social media is playing a role in how it's transitioned? Because you've kind of really lived through that specifically in the entertainment world. And so, how do you think that's really playing it? Because I think a lot of people in the entertainment world are still trying to play it by the old school rules. Like, oh, I'm trying to come up how like Puff came up and DMX and Jay-Z. I'm trying to come up how they did and just grind. I'm like, well, um, that ain't gonna work because
Yeah, it's a
there's
whole it's a
gonna be
whole
five
different
thousand
era.
other guys putting stuff up on Spotify that are gonna blow you, and they're gonna get the attention, you know. And so, how is that like literally changed the world?
Yeah, it's totally different because, like you said, we came up in the music business in the '90s when we could still sell CDs at Tower Records. You know, my we had a record label with our mutual friend Jason Lent, which you're our
Yep.
brother in the Philippines right now.
Yes, sir.
We had a record label and we were selling records all at Sam's Club, Sam Goodies. It was fun. Tower
Sam
Records.
Goody.
Yeah, you remember? That was
Oh
like
my
the golden age
gosh,
of,
yeah.
yeah, and then Napster
Jellies.
changed everything, the digital world. But obviously the one thing that's constant is change, as you know, and it's a really good time for music right now. I'm excited because the whole new it's streaming. It's all about streaming. Nobody buys CDs anymore. Obviously, it's streaming, concert, and merchandise. And if that's that as an entrepreneur, never mind the music business, you just have to go with change and take advantage and think 10 steps ahead. That's how you have to think and be ready for it. That's what it is.
No, yeah, I 100% agree. And so, how has being in a relationship where it's like you're not just in a relationship, like you have this very amazing partnership. So it's kind of you're balancing life, and you guys, you made the decision to move from Hawaii to Las Vegas to be able to get, open up more access.
Yes.
And so how has, because you kind of went away from the family units that would be able to support you and starting your family. So you guys
Yes.
have a lot on your plate. So at this point, like I really want to dive into some of that type of stuff because we're about ready to eliminate that excuse from like, oh, I don't have any family support, or
Yes.
like, oh, I got it, Mike. I need to, pay attention to my spouse because they're getting drained out or whatever. Like we're about ready to eliminate all those excuses because you guys overcome them on a daily basis.
Right.
And so how has that, like, what's that dynamic like between you guys?
Okay, so we talked about earlier how, if you want to reach your goals, that, you first have to believe in yourself, right? But I think the unique thing about us is that not only does Elan really believe in himself and his dreams, but he has me as his number one supporter and number one believer as well. So the two of us together, of course, are stronger.
Yep.
And we, he has this new band, his new project that just came out this year, The Majority. So we've been working on this for the last year and a half or so, and I'm here to bounce his ideas. We talk about it like every day. He comes up with his ideas. He asks me my opinion, and both coming from the music world, I'm able to give my opinion and how I see it, and sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't, but we always come up with the best way to do things. So talking about moving to Vegas, we moved here in 2000, end of 2010, beginning of 2011. Of course, we were newly married, no kids yet. So, we were just going for it. We pursued different opportunities in music. Elan was recording. I was brand new here, so I had to make a name for myself in, the female vocalist scene. And we just kind of did it on our own without any referrals, without really knowing anyone here in the entertainment business. So that was the number one we had to overcome, and we actually did. And then we had kids, And that was a whole different story because, like you said, we didn't really have family support here. So we decided that I would stay home with the baby, which is
Mm-hmm.
Lyric. She's
Mm-hmm.
now 5 years old, and Elan would be the one who went out to gig. And then we had baby number two, and she's 3 years old now. Her name is London, and still, I actually stayed home with the kids. Was able to be a stay-at-home, work-at-home mom for the last 5, 6 years, and we were really blessed to have that experiences because if you see us and the girls, we're so close, and they're thriving, they're amazing little girls, and I mean anyone who meets them knows that. But yeah, we do have to make sacrifices. We do have to make things balance and work. And sometimes when we do the overseas work or performances and stuff, we have to go through a lot. I have to
Mm-hmm.
drop the kids off in Hawaii to stay with my family. They watch them. We do our thing overseas. I go back, pick them up, and we come back to Vegas. So it's not always like the easy route, but we do it because we love it, and we just come up with I guess the ways to make it happen instead
So
of like well, we can't do it because we don't
yeah.
have this. We brainstorm and we just make it happen in the best way we know how.
No, for sure. So it's never like you guys just have the agreement beforehand that like, hey, it's not a matter of if we can do this, it's how are we going to
How?
do this?
Yes.
And I think that like just the tweak in that prelim question to yourself or between you and your partner changes the whole outcome of the game because you
And I
eliminate
think
that.
that's a great way to say it. We always say like, how are we going to do this? This
Yeah.
is what we need to do. How are we going to do this?
Because the second you ask if, now there's a door of it not happening because it's an option. But if the question is, how are we going to do this? Then the only options are going to be, coming up with a way to make something happen. Like, give me some ideas. Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? The idea might not work, but then we just need to figure out a different way to do it. Like Thomas Edison, right? He just found, thousands of ways on how not to make the light bulb. It was never, he didn't invent the light bulb. It was just, I just figured out how not to do it, so I won't do that again.
Exactly.
And so how did the stay at home part of it, because as an entertainer, as being like a social butterfly, for lack of better words, I mean, you kind of have to get that sort of to be part of your DNA, is being out there and wanting to pursue that. That's part of being an entertainer. So how did transitioning to being the stay-at-home mom, I know it was a necessity during that time, but how did that help you? Because I think like you didn't just sit there, like, you know what I mean? Like your brain's doing, like, I know you have you were like, hey, all these other people are blogging and things of that sort, so why don't we just start that? Maybe, I don't know when that came about, so I know you're kind of starting that. So kind of touch on like how, even though you're in a situation that on paper might not be ideal for what in the macro sense your goals are, how you still were able to take steps towards working towards it, even though you're just, not just staying at home, but you were transitioning to not being out in the, air quote spotlight.
Right. It was, well, when you become a first-time mom, you have that bond with your baby. And for me, it wasn't really a big question. It's like I wanted to stay home and, form that bond. Like, I know the time was going to go so fast, and it literally is going so fast. I mean, she's already in kindergarten. And when I think about it, it's like, my gosh, she's just a little baby. What happened? And then when you see the Facebook memories pop up, like, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, and you see them as a little baby and you see her now, it's like, it's mind blowing. It's crazy. But, for me, of course, first time mom, it's like, you got to figure it out. So it
Yeah.
took me a while, now we always laugh about it. It's like when we went to the hospital, it was just the two of us, gave birth, and we brought this little baby home, and we're like, okay, what do we do now? But,
Just don't kill it.
Yeah. Exactly, right. But it's just, it takes a while to figure out, how to be a mom, and the feeding and taking care of them, everything. So I think for me in the beginning, it wasn't a no-brainer. I definitely wanted to stay home with the babies, and I didn't. Of course, I miss singing. That didn't come for a while. because I just enjoyed being a mom so much and just
Mm-hmm.
learning and creating that bond and relationship. I think that the missing the singing came about after London. Our second one was about probably like two or three, because I was singing full time here in Vegas, like 5 nights a week,
Yep.
and from going 5 nights a week to like just staying home, literally in sweatpants and a tank top every single day. When you're at home, you don't have to get ready. I don't have to put on lashes. I don't have to put on makeup, wear high heels. It's like when I put on high heels for the first time, like last year, I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I do this for 5 hours each night? But
Yeah. Is that kind of what sparked the reunion with
the re
Forte?
yeah, the reunion with Forte, we actually did that in 2017. You know what? We just had the opportunity. A promoter in Hawaii asked us. They were doing a 90s show, and they're like, what better group from Hawaii to join them than Forte, and it would be our very first reunion after 15 years of not performing together.
Mm-hmm.
And all of us are now moms. So it was really interesting at that time. We all wanted to do it. I mean, of course, we were apprehensive because, we were known as a group that sang, that did choreography, and here we are, like 15 years later, all moms. We haven't really done the choreography thing for a while,
Yeah.
and worried about, we had to put our best foot forward because we had to. I mean, we didn't want to let our old fans down,
Yeah.
obviously,
You're
and
putting yourself back in the spotlight.
right. Yeah, and we didn't want to let our old fans down. We didn't want to let ourselves down. And yeah, that was a crazy time. We had to like do choreography. We had to practice vocals. We had to meal prep and work out.
Gotta get the gym bod, right?
We had to come back with fire. So
No, and
yeah, that was a great time. It was
so
amazing.
so I'm glad you brought that up because it leads right into a perfect topic, which is kind of overcoming the fear of doubt. So kind of, I guess, really from the outside perspective, if you could share, Elan, like how did you see them as a group? Because you saw them as a unit, you know, pre, dating, when they just came to you when they were in high school. You saw them kind of go through those struggles, and they really, I mean, when you're younger, you have, it's kind of like ignorance is bliss, right? You don't know what you don't know. And so seeing them together now you've had 15 years of life, and that can kind of tarnish you a little bit, like you've had a lot of failures and they stick with you because now we take it more personally,
Right.
and so how did you see them overcome those challenges that Marlene just shared about? Like, like, oh, okay, great. We're going to be in the spotlight. So I can't move like I did when I was in high school. My body just
Right.
doesn't, you know what I mean? And still overcoming that to still, accomplish, an amazing, reunion.
Yeah, it was beautiful to see, and there was definitely some struggles because now everybody has their own life, like Marlene said, and you realize when an event comes up like that, how much goes into the preparation, the rehearsals, the tech preparation, I mean everything from what are we gonna wear to the costume to the makeup. There's so much involved, and now they have kids, and it was like it was pretty tough. It was hard, and not everybody lives in Hawaii, so we had to figure everybody to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some struggle, but at the end, their bond and their sisterhood shined over everything, and it brought them through, and they killed it. It was an amazing performance. It was All for One, Shy, and Forte, I think, was the concert, and I think all anyone was talking about was Forte. It was like
Aw, thank you.
no, it was like it was awesome to see, and not to your point, to show that to overcome the struggles is the self-belief, and they probably went back on the 15 years of, what, we've done this so many times, we can do it again. Let's get our act together. Let's rehearse. We know what it takes. We know the process. We know our vision. We know what we're trying to do. Let's do it. They got clear on it and did it, and it was amazing. It was good. And then they did a few more after that.
Yeah,
Because
because it wasn't just one, right?
Yeah, they got called on for a few more things because People are like, I think, like you said, people were expecting them not to, not expecting to do well, and they did well, and they're like, wow, okay, well, let's get them on something else.
You got to strike while the fire is hot, right?
Yeah.
And then, is that right around the time when I guess you started the majority,
No.
or did that come later?
I mean, to kind of, and also, for your listeners, like we planted a lot of seeds. I mean, she couldn't just be a stay-at-home mom without us of planting seeds a long time ago. We have a few companies, we have a real estate company, also BlackRock, on Oahu, which is primarily a property management company, and that has been, the the thing that's the company that's been really supporting us, from day one, and that was seeds planted back in the 90s. So we've established a few companies to support our lifestyle and allow us to chase our passion dream, which is music and entertainment. But the majority we started, about a year and a half ago. I got clear on what I wanted to do with it, and we've been doing all right with it. We're going on tour in July. We should be coming out to Hawaii. We got some songs on the radio out there in Hawaii, so it's exciting.
Okay, and so what genre is the majority?
It's island reggae.
Okay.
But I would say it's along the lines of a UB40, Maxi Priest. It's a Big Mountain.
So
That feel good,
you're bringing back the good.
Yeah, we're trying to, so it's not your roots reggae. We call it reggae infused because obviously, like, we grew up on hip hop, R&B, pop
Everything,
music, country music. Yeah. So everything kind of melts into it, but reggae is the platform of it,
Okay.
But yeah, I think people will like it.
Oh, they're gonna love it. They do love it.
And that's why you guys are the best, teammates. You're like, that thing sucks. No, it's great. It's the greatest thing. You didn't even hear it yet, but I know. And so really, I mean, kind of joking around about it, but it's like, how has that really helped you? Because you almost need that blind support behind you. Because say when, like, Marlene was, staying at home, so she's not out there watching you gig, but it's just kind of
Right.
still giving the support. So she can't tell you, but like, hey, you kind of were off on this song, or this track was a little bit off, like your timing is off on, like, you know what I mean? She can't give you the professional criticism to help elevate your game, which is what I know you guys have. But so how did, just that blind support really play a role in you guys achieving what you guys have achieved, because you guys weren't always physically there for each other.
Right.
So I think the emotional support is a whole nother spectrum to the success that we haven't really touched on. So can you kind of touch on that a little bit, like the emotional support and how that plays a role in a family dynamic trying to achieve stuff?
It's a huge part. I mean, we're definitely a true life partnership. We rely on each other for, like you said, the emotional support, for advice, for just someone to bounce ideas off of. But we treat our marriage like a business in the sense that we meet once a week and we go over our family vision for the 3 months, for the year, for the 10 years, and we treat it like a business, and I think it's helped a lot. And to go back on what you're saying, the emotional support, we've definitely brought each other through some hard times, and you need that. I never understood the whole self-made millionaire thing. I mean, you need a support team to achieve great things. You need people who believe in you, and people who will emotionally support you, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like all these self-made millionaires, okay, well, who's the team that,
Yeah.
put this
I mean,
ad together for you?
Yeah. I mean, I guess the true definition, what they mean by self-made millionaires, they didn't.
You came
grow
from
up
nothing.
into a trust fund. Right.
Yeah.
They didn't have a trust fund, but I understand that. But, people definitely need people and a team and the support to achieve great things. You can't do it by yourself. There's no way. No way.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so, talking about that and building a team and a support system around you, when was it that you guys got to the point where you began to open up your association? Obviously, while you're out gigging and stuff like that, you're making connections and things of that sort, right? And so, when
Yeah.
was it that, like, from the business perspective, like, hey, we want to start, like a business and start taking it outside of just us, as the co-CEOs of, you know, Team
Power, yeah.
Markos, but it's kind of like, hey, let's start growing it out and really start grinding and doing this. And so, how did all of that really start coming into effect? Once Marlene kind of made the decision that, like, okay, the stay-at-home mom full-time position, has the
yeah,
box has been checked, or whatever, however you want to label it. I don't know however
yeah.
Marlene wants to label it, but you know what I mean? When did that happen? And then what were the steps to start really
That's a
doing
that's
it?
a yeah, that's a great question. And really comes from Empower Entertainment Group came from when we sat down and we were like, you know what, we've wore so many hats in the entertainment business. Everything from booking agent, talent agent, record label, as we had two record labels, production, publishing, I mean, every facet of the entertainment business, we've done it. And we got together and we're like, you know what? Let's start an umbrella company that encompasses all of those things because we have the skill and the knowledge and the resources, and the contacts for that bit for all of that. So that's how Empower Entertainment Group was formed. And since then, we've done things like take Chef Sam Choi overseas to do a night in the islands for our military. We've taken Jabberwockies on tour. We've done many bands. A bunch of things have grown from it. We have a publishing company on it. We've gotten music on TV, on radio.
I'm booking talent in Hawaii now for the.
Right. We book talent in Hawaii, in the islands for different venues.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, so Empower Entertainment Group is the umbrella for all of that. And then obviously, as you know, Marlene spearheaded the Empower Family blog, which has been her passion project, and she started that about this year too, also. So that falls under the umbrella of Empower too.
Yeah. And so you guys started working with so many different artists. I mean, Sam Choi, I mean, he's a legend,
Yeah,
but it's like
super.
you guys branch out, so it's like it's really, sure, he's an entertainer, but it's like you guys are just like a talent management group because he has nothing to do with music.
Correct.
And
Just
so
entertainment.
yeah, so
Yeah.
where did that really, like, how did you guys know to really open up the spectrum? Because really everything that you guys specialize in, air quote, was in the music industry for the most part.
Right,
So
okay.
how did you guys dive into, like, hey, let's get a chef?
Right.
You know?
So that one came about because we were actually working with the military. So we part of our business is we contract and book talent for the military who are deployed overseas, mainly in Japan, Europe, all over. So one of our contacts at one of the bases that we work with says, "Hey, we want to do a chef night. Do you think you can get Sam Choi?" And we're like, "Yes." So we were able to come up with this program in like 30 days and from inception to completion in Japan. And it was a huge hit, and we brought him back several times after that to the same base. And that really kicked off, like how you said we were mainly doing music, but that really kicked off the branch that we can represent and book talent other than music.
No, that's perfect. I love that. Yeah, Sam Choi, did he cook for you guys?
Of course.
How was it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody can, like, oh, I ate at Sam Choi's. It's like, yeah, but
Right.
Sam Choi didn't cook for you. There's a big
Right.
difference. He owns the restaurant, but he didn't cook the food.
Oh, it was amazing. We had like four airmen that would that assisted him. We did like a burger cook-off at the flight line, and
Oh
the food was
wow.
amazing. And he's just so amazing to work with and to travel with.
He looks
And
like he would just be
to
like a
this day,
riot.
he always texts us all the time, like, "Hey, how you guys doing? Tell give my love to the kids and stuff." I mean, so it's actually really built on relationships. So Elan will tell you. I mean, we've our contacts that we've made and that we have are really our good friends. The relationships that we've built over the years. It's not something that just happens overnight. Some people that we work with, we've known for 5, 10 plus years,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't just work with someone without them knowing your your personality, your demeanor, without trusting you. So I think that's part of the reason why we're doing what we're doing, is because we've proven ourselves that we can deliver,
Yeah.
basically, that we are professional, we we have great ideas.
No, I love that. And so, coming up with new ideas and kind of breaking out of the norm and always changing it up, it really falls into being creative. And so, I mean, because you guys work with the Jabberwockies, and like that's kind of what they blew up on, right? Because you think like with dancing and what they were doing, it's like, okay, how much more can they do different? But they're always coming out with something new to be creative. So working with these different artists like the Jabberwockies, and meeting Sam Choi and how he's always just innovative and creating new things. How has working with these types of people helped you guys really just unlock like that hidden talent of thinking outside the box for the
Oh yeah,
business?
yeah, for sure. I mean, specific, I mean, oh, that's a good question. I mean, you pick up. It's like, I guess it goes back to what you're talking about, being self-aware and being aware. When you're working with people, you be aware, like listen and learn. And from everybody we've worked with, we take away something. We learn something. It could be just the leadership that they take, or it could just be the creative ideas that they're doing, or just the way that their organization is set up. But Jabberwockies in specific are an amazing brand. I mean, look at, like you said, I mean, these guys won a TV show, and now they've made this, their brand is ridiculously strong. 4-year-old kids know Jabberwockies to 50-year-old, 60-year-old grandma and grandpa know Jabberwockies. And
Mm-hmm.
that brand is something for your listeners to like. That it's all about branding. It's all about finding that one thing that makes you unique and authentic, and like, back to what you said, grabbing the attention, figuring out how to get the attention of that demographic you're after, and showing your brand. That's the key to a lot of this entrepreneurial, journey.
Yeah.
Because you can have a great idea, a great product, but as you know, if nobody knows about it,
If you don't execute,
if you don't
that,
execute exactly,
yeah.
then you get executed.
Yeah, for real. And I think another thing that's unique about the Jabberwockies is there's no front man. There's no
Right,
headliner. There's no like, air quote face of the Jabberwockies. It's just Jabberwockies. And it's
right.
like who specifically? The guy in the mask.
Right.
I
Mr.
don't know. I don't
Surprise.
know. I don't know which one. And so
Right.
how different, like, or what makes that so uniquely amazing from your perspective, being in the talent entertainment management and all of that stuff? How is that really helping them? Because it's definitely about branding, but usually it's a lot of times like there is a face to, like if you think NSYNC right now, boom, your first thing you're going to think about is Justin Timberlake.
Right.
Because then there's Justin Timberlake, and then there's like, oh yeah, then there's NSYNC,
Right.
or Britney Spears. Like there's always a face, but with the Jabberwockies, it was just straight brand.
Right.
So they could be
Right.
changing up. Like they could have like 5 guys on the stage, but they could have a crew of like 15, and we'll never know which 5 are on at a time.
Yeah, and that's the brand they are. They actually have 4 ongoing shows, so they have 4 or 5 different cast sets of cast. I mean, they have probably 70, 80, 90 dancers. in working under their organization.
Mm-hmm.
But the key is that they're all trained and follow the original code that the original leaders set, and they really protect their brand. And that's one thing I think what keeps them strong is they really protect their brand and care about every aspect, from the lighting to they do their costumes are all custom done in-house. Their music is done custom in-house. I mean, everything is very particular. They protect their brand, and they shape, and that's why it's what it is. I think that's why it's so strong.
No, yeah.
But
No, go ahead.
I'd hate to use the word gimmick, but really it was the mask is the one thing I think that really set them apart in the beginning 10, 11 years ago. But they obviously rolled with it and took it to the next level, because there's a lot of dance crews out there.
Yeah, there are. I mean, there's a whole TV show about it now. It's been around. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, you think you can dance or whatever it is. I don't watch it, but I know it's out there.
Yeah.
Nothing against the dance crews. Yeah, you guys are all skilled and talented. I will give you your credit, but it's just I can't sit there and watch a dance competition for hours.
It's hard. But if you meet the core, I think it comes down to leadership too. If you meet the core 4 or 5 guys, they're the most amazing leaders that you'll find. I mean, they're amazing people, and I think it trickles down to the organization. That's why they are thriving right now, because their leadership is amazing. They're just amazing leaders, and that's what keeps their brand strong and going. It takes leadership and vision.
Yeah,
and
vision is
they
super
had vision.
important.
Yeah, they actually had. I mean, they have an amazing story. They had a member that passed away early on, and he was the one that spearheaded the whole thing and had the vision where before anyone thought dance could be what it is now, because dance is amazing right now. I mean, like Nike is making their own shoe line for b-boys. I mean, it's a whole different thing. But apparently, this guy had vision that it was gonna happen, so they carried out the vision. Nobody thought dance would make it this far, and it is. So it's all about vision and carrying out your vision and dreams and goals.
Yeah, and I think it really got a lot of spotlight when they started coming out with like the You Got Served and the Step Up movies and all of that stuff, and it's like, oh wow, this stuff is pretty cool. And then I forget which one, then they incorporated like all the lighting and like literally making it into a production on how it could look. And then that's probably when all the guys in Vegas were like, hey, let's get our hands on that.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what Vegas does. Like, everybody like can think all the money in Vegas and they just want to make money. It's like, yeah, they're running a business, they want to make money. But when you think about a production in Vegas, their productions are, you guys are there all the time. You're performing in them, and like their productions they're on point.
Yes.
And so I think a lot of people don't even realize that aspect of it. But I really want to kind of like spend the last few minutes diving into just the amount of work that you see with all these different artists, because so many people just think like, oh, they're talented, or oh, I can't do that because it doesn't come natural to me. But I think if you just work hard enough, like, you can eventually get good at stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, granted, like, I'm never going to be in the NBA, but there still has to be a level of self-awareness.
Right.
And so I always joke around. It's like, I never played basketball my whole life. Like, my Japanese female cousin who's shorter than me will school me in basketball because she played basketball, all through high school for Elan and stuff like that. And so I would joke around saying that to friends, and they're like, what? But you're half black. It's like, so? What's that have to do with anything? I don't rap either. Like, you know what I mean? No, I'm stereotyping me. Come on.
Yeah.
But like, how much do you think people need to understand that if you just work hard enough, like, you can get to that? Kind of dive into some of that stuff, because you are surrounded by so much talent, so you see it firsthand.
No, I 110% agree, and it goes back to what you were talking about with Puff Daddy. I mean, I look at like a Puff Daddy and a Jennifer Lopez or a Will Smith, and they talk about it all the time, that discipline, work ethic will always outperform talent. Like if you're talented, great, but what do you do with that talent? It's all about work ethic and discipline. Look at like Jennifer Lopez is not the greatest singer, not the greatest actress, but she's number one because she had self-belief and she outworked everybody else. And that's the same with like Puff Daddy. Like, what is his talent? I don't know, but that guy has so much self-belief and works 200 times harder than everybody. And Will Smith talks about that all the time too. And so, yeah, I totally believe that talent only will take you so far. It's about being clear about what you want and working your ass off to make it happen.
Yeah, and I think part of it too, like you brought up Puff Daddy, or we brought him back up. I mean, think about what he did though. Like he would just roll up on set to Carson Daly, like TRL and all of that stuff. Why? Because he knows every like the demographic that watches that, you know, with that in that age range, whether you're like 13, 14 up to like maybe, you know, what, 21, 22, 23, everybody's watching it at that moment.
Right.
So he's getting free exposure. I mean, he knew the currency of attention before it was a currency.
Exactly.
You know, and now
that doesn't require talent. That requires hard work and awareness, like you're talking about, and a little bit of hustle. I mean, that's it. You know?
Yeah. Like how much effort did it really take to just roll up on set?
Right.
To crash, you know, TRL. Didn't take that much physical effort. But he's capitalizing on it like ridiculous, and he will for the rest of his life, and so will his family, because he was aware of what's happening with the trends in society. You know, with social media now and all of this stuff, like people that want to get out there and grind and make something, they just really need to capitalize on social media. And so I think that's one thing that people don't understand, is that it's all about attention. But really, you know, so I don't want to take up too much more of your time so you can get back to the girls. But anything else you want to share? You know, I know where can people find you? I know you folks have all the different Instagram handles for you, Marlene, and Elan, and then you have the Empower family, then Entertainment Group and Forte, and then the majority. So I think I put a bunch of those on the website. But like, where can people find you, or any people looking for representation? What are you guys doing with that? Are you guys taking on new talent?
always looking for new talent for booking around the world and stuff. But yeah, you made it sound like we were like multiple personalities. We have so many different handles.
Yeah, because I just pulled up Marlene's page, and I was like, oh yeah, so there's Marlene, and then there's Elan, and I was like, well, you have Lyric in London. I was like, I'll let people figure that out on their own. Then there's the family blog. Then there's like the Entertainment Group, and then there's Forte. Then I was like, well, the only thing missing is the majority.
Oh, we have the majority too. Don't worry. We have just a lot of I think basically we're really project driven and program driven. So we're definitely working on a lot of things, but I think the mainstay with us would be Empower Entertainment Group. So I guess if they click onto empowerentertainmentgroup.com or any of our personal profiles, Marlene Markos or Elan Markos, Elan Live, then they can definitely find us. You will definitely find us. Get a hold of us if you need to. We are very easily reached.
That's it, right? That's why Jeff Bezos is winning with Amazon. And he hacked it. How do you eliminate friction? You know, even Zuckerberg, like with Facebook, like that's what they're doing. Like they're eliminating all the friction for the consumer. Mm-hmm. Like, why do you buy on Amazon versus other places? Like, why? Because I can just hit one button and it's so easy.
Right.
You know, like you almost sometimes forget to even look at the price.
Right. I'm guilty of that.
Yeah. It's he's evil for making it too easy to buy stuff, but he's a genius. I mean,
Genius.
Yeah, it's a genius. I think Zuckerberg is gonna pass Bezos at some point, though. He's younger and he's more in touch. So We'll see. If they partner up, then we're all screwed.
Well, yeah. The world will just explode if they partner up.
It's just like, nope, it's over. Game over.
Yeah.
Everybody else just fight for second.
Exactly.
Well, Jeff, we want to thank you for having us on your podcast, for thinking of us and thinking
Absolutely.
that, us as a couple, our story will be able to help others. And, it really makes us feel like really nice. So thank
No,
you so
you
much
guys
for
are it,
thinking
man.
of us.
I can't not, man. We go way back, like we were just talking about, like sending Elon that
Yeah.
super throwback picture. It was like, whoa, that was in like one of the OG studios that he was working in,
Yeah.
slash living room. But no, thank you guys for coming on. We will definitely stay in touch. I look forward to having you guys again, and hearing about more of your success. You guys have a wonderful rest of the day and give Lyric in London some love.
Will
Thank you,
do.
Jeff.
Thank you
You
so
too.
much. Have
Take
a good
care.
Take care.
weekend.
Bye bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed that episode of Blast Talks. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you tell your friends too, because we got a lot more coming for you, and I know you're going to love it.